Namaskara, Bengaluru. This is Anant. I'm the moderator and speaker now. I would like to begin by saying nobody is a master. We all are here to learn from each other. You, us, everybody have to learn from each other. Quoting a small share, कौन है जिसमें कमी नहीं, आसमान के पास ज़मीन नहीं, ज़मीन के पास तारे नहीं, तारों के पास तो बहुत कुछ नहीं. In toto, you have to learn, we have to learn, let's all learn. Let's dive into the panel with one more share. With the panelists' permission, if you don't say wah wah, I definitely will show you I'm the moderator with a whip. No, wait. जैसे हर जीजा को साली पसंद है, जैसे हर जीजा को साली पसंद है, इस पैनल को जबरदस्त ताली पसंद है. ठोको ताली for this wonderful audience, this wonderful panel, and the super organizers here. Having said this, let me take over as moderator. Let me introduce the panelist. Myself, Anant Narayan. I've given clubs like Club X, Nix, Tuscan, Fusion, plenty more, 34 in the last 25 years. Now I'm running Just PLR Arena, Just PLR Adda, Just PLR Comedy Club, Kotaichi. Now let me introduce Mr. Ishwar K. Vikas, co-founder and CEO Mukunda Foods, the kitchen automation man. Mr. Mahesh Reddy, CEO Go Pizza, my favorite pizza. I always say Come Pizza, not Go Pizza. Mr. Abhinav Mathur, Managing Director, Coffee Machines. He is the topmost rocking coffeepreneur. India is proud of you. Mr. Girish Pai, Founder and CEO, Growth Falcons. Many of you must be disgruntled with Swiggy and Zomato. You want to get out? He is the ONDC man. Catch him. Ms. Rashmi Daga, Founder and CEO, Fresh Menu. She is the iron lady who's super passionate about her innovations. Pleasure to have you, ma'am. Mr. G.K. Pramod, my childhood friend, author, mentor, serial entrepreneur, co-founder of Iyengar's Oven Fresh, Coffee Confessions, Casa Piccola, Tropical Terrace, and Bangalore Belly. Oof. His nickname is Business Guru. Now let's set some small rules for the panel discussion. I will ask a couple of questions to the panelists. Maybe let's all take 4 to 5 minutes, give our view. Then probably let's open the questions to the audience, Q&A session. Then let's come back again, close, and then summarize. I hope this is okay with you all. Thank you. I begin as a speaker. The topic I've chosen is food tech and beverage automation. I will be covering 6 key points. The first key point is tech really necessary in F&B. I quote Deepu, my favorite. One Deepu from one company called Zom, one Deepu from one company called Zom, and one Shri from one company called Swi. Both of them send their people begging for entry into our restaurants. I'm sorry, but it's a fact. They came and said, woohoo, free delivery. Woohoo, free discovery. We all jumped like cats and dogs and went on. Post that, you know what happened? 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%. I don't know where it's going to stop. And guess what? They're opening their own outlets now. Association, many of us are saying, how? It's not how, it's why. Because they went into tech innovation, they are far ahead of many people. So moral of the story, the fast, and the furious in tech game, they win. The rest are history. And some remain mystery. I quote my own story. Out of 34 outlets, I've closed multiple. I've learned. I've learned that tech plays a very important role. Controls play a very important role. Of course, I'm flourishing. My bots, my AI-assisted machines, my tech is in place, and I'm very happy about it. The next point I would cover, what kind of automation or tech is needed in F&B? See, from a customer entry to a customer exit, there is a plethora of tech available, not just one or two. Many of you are all Maharathis, many must be using multiple. I would like to state what I use. They are world class. I humbly want to tell you that what I've been using, which might be of good use to many. In the bar, I'm using bar bots, which give you perfect consistency. The drinks are super consistent, and it's connected to the POS where you get reports. There's no pilferage. Second, in the kitchen, I have put in lots of self-learning AI-assisted cooking bots. They don't have mood swings, just perfect plates for that perfect dates. And coming to service bot you saw, service trains are there. It removes the strain of the people serving backend. If you ask me where you can see these, couple of them are here in the stall. Many of them are at my R&D outlet on Brigade Road. Come see the future. The next point, many of my friends have asked me, hey Anant, you sell daru man, profit is so much. Why the hell you have to automate? I remember what my wife told me once. झुकने से जिंदगी सुधर जाए तो झुक जाओ, झुकने से जिंदगी सुधर जाए तो झुक जाओ, पर बार बार सिर्फ आप ही को झुकना पड़ा तो प्लीज रुक जाओ. It hit my head. I understood what she meant. I went into automation. I have a straight back now and better straight finance now. Like Anand Mahindra said, he likes to watch his wife, gaze at his wife once on a Sunday. I would like to say, I have a pretty wife. I gaze at her 7 days a week. I just don't gaze at her. I also listen to her. I'm a wise man. On a jocular note. Coming to point 5. Will tech kill jobs? See, tech is here to assist people. It is not to replace people. From landline phone production, if you look at en masse production of mobiles now, you think there is no labor there? Tech has given employment. It's not removed employment. See, in my perspective, it's how we use them. You make them your master, then they'll be the monster, and they'll make you also monster. You make them your humble slave and make use of the machines to help your staff work efficiently. I think that's how it should be used. My last take on tech and F&B, I close after this. I'm sorry, I'm taking a little more time. I did say 5 minutes, I think I've crossed 5. The last one. I am using tech, I am for the people, by the people, to the people. For the people, I mean, using tech, give the best experience to the customer. To the people, my employees who are my family, make them work smarter, not just harder. And definitely, all of you for the people, this F&B brethren, I want faster ROIs, I want easier expansion, I want a happy life for all of us. By saying this, I end. Let's move to the next panelist. Sorry, I took a little more extra time. There was a lot to say. Thank you. It's GK Pramod. The mic is all yours. A few questions. I think why automation? What technology disruption? What if I don't adapt? How to build global brands using tech? It's all yours now.
Okay, I'm GK. Fortunately, we are all talking about automation, disruption. I would still go back to, old school of thinking. You may agree with me, you may disagree with me. My old school of thinking goes back to the safety pin. You know, the safety pin was invented long ago and was sold it was sold for $400. The IP rights was sold for $400. But today it is a $150 million industry. What I am trying to tell you here is that when the technology has come, I don't think so it will disrupt the basic food menu. It is the basic thing that we're eating. For example, say we run a bakery. Still breads are preferred. Still milk bread is preferred. So the basic things, whether it is idli vada, whether it is paneer, whether it is chicken tikka, the basic things remains the same. But definitely technology is going to make the way the things are being produced. So why automation? My previous chef shared an experience on SOP, Standard Operating Practices. So before we get into automation, I feel the first step is to have an SOP. And I'm completely from a different industry. I moved from an IT industry to a food industry. And the advantage is, when you are ignorant, you're not afraid. So the whole thing is about, when we start preparing an SOP, which is a basic step before getting into automation, this is the industry where I found you close one lid, another lid opens. Morning 5:45, the heartbeat starts if you're running a bakery. Or if you're running a restaurant, it starts at 11:45, whether my chef has come, my people have opened the outlet or not. From there, the SOP starts till you close the whole outlet, and then it starts beating when the diesel in the diesel generator stops down. So the whole thing, if I don't adopt a technology here, I'm not even coming to automation. If I don't have a simple alarm system which tells that, okay, this task has been completed, how will I able to run a business and how will I be able to have a happy life for an entrepreneur? So the first step before technology is I would still go back, have an SOP, and we did a research with more than 500 bakers, and when we asked a question for them, do you have a recipe maintained in an Excel sheet for your milk bread, for your puff? The answer is no. It depends on the mood of the chef that day, whether he has fought with somebody else, his girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, and what salt goes in, what maida goes in, God only knows. So before automation, I would tell the foundation is awareness and training. According to me, the industry is missing that link. We don't spend much time on training and automation because we work with unorganized sector of people catering to the organized sector of people. So I would tell automation is definitely required to increase the productivity. But before automation, the foundation is awareness, training, SOP creation. With this, I will pass on the mic to my next speaker.
Well said, GK. Ma'am, you are an innovator and an amazing person, an iron lady known for doing multiple things. I think I'll keep the questions open to you. There's so much to learn from you. Please let us know what we can learn from you.
Okay, that's okay. So I think one of the things I would love to share today is around innovation. So Fresh Menu, when we built, it was built with innovation as one of the key pillars of the business. And I think that is what allowed the company to survive through difficult times, to thrive when the opportunities came right. And I think innovation, when you build as a pillar, it is not just on the menu. I think the DNA of the company, the kind of people who get involved with your business, innovation has to be everybody's DNA. So product thinking, problem solving, and ability to change quickly without worrying about, am I doing the right thing? The only question to answer is always that, am I doing the right thing for the consumers? And the next is, am I doing the right thing for my team and for the company? And I think that allows amazing amount of innovation to happen in each company. As you grow, I think the only change we have made to the innovation DNA is put some guardrails, because that's the only way. As you get larger and bigger, the guardrails allows you to not go a little haywire, especially when the number of people in the team increases. So I think innovation from a consumer perspective usually shows up only on the menu or packaging, but innovation at the back end in terms of technology that we use to automate our kitchens, in terms of data that we deal with and how do we make use of the data and the trends in terms of behavior, in terms of supply chain, in terms of making it, for example, one of the big changes we've made in the last couple of years is indenting or the supply chain that the kitchens need is a lot of data is calculated and presented to them upfront. So it takes away the intelligence to think about material planning, cost planning, controls, wastage of material, pilferage of material. A lot of those controls could have been automated, and we spent where the money is, and it saved us a lot of money eventually. So I think innovation is at that DNA that anything and everything can change for better. That's one of the key messages for today. Thank you.
Well said about innovation. My question to Mr. Mahesh Reddy, Go Pizza. Come pizza, keep coming, it's so delicious. Can we have your expert opinion on AI, robotics, and customer impact with respect to QSR, as that's your forte?
The toughest task in the world is handling people. And the biggest strength which our country has got is population. And the biggest challenge, which we all will agree, is also people only. In other countries where we operate, like Singapore, Korea, Thailand, Indonesia, you'll be surprised, especially if I take Singapore, our average staff age is 60 years. There's no people to work in the restaurants. And that 60-year person also, he puts a board, I'm on a break on the counter, I'll come back, because the average staffing is only 2 and 3 in an outlet. So there's already problem in the western side and the eastern side. Whereas in India we come, it's an affordable sales to salary cost or a manpower, but our attritions, our challenges are very high. Hence, I run a food tech company, and already we have AI and robotic. There are advantages. The advantages in the eastern and western countries, they're accepting the technology, but in India, it's taking time. For example, the self-kiosks, and I'm sure most of the customers will be coming to your bar, restaurants, and your places. Everybody says, यार ये scanner नहीं चाहिए, मुझे menu card दे, या बता दे क्या menu में है, because I'm too lazy to scan, to select, though the technology is provided. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's taking time for India. The generation change or the generation gap, it's taking time. Whereas in other parts, it's already been accepted. We use AI and for robotics both at the back end more and the front end robotics. At the back end, AI helps us. The challenge which we have is people. Today, the training part is done by AI. The AI tells the person how much sauce to be put. The AI tells the person not to put more toppings. The AI tells the person, instead of me going and speaking, stop, you can't do this. There cannot be SOP deviation, like you said. So it helps at the back end, because that's the biggest challenge which we all have in the restaurant. Robotic, of course, where we have a less staffing, it is helping. In India, it's taking time because it's a customer attraction, but customers still want personalization, customization at the outlet. I believe we all to survive or to grow, innovation and technology both has to play parallelly. If we do not do at the right time and every quarter and every year, it's difficult to survive. So that's the advantages, challenges, and adaptation to the technology and teaching to the customers behavior, which we have to be fast in our country. Thank you.
Correctly and rightly said. Now my questions to Mr. Girish Pai, my very good friend I'm catching you, you know for what. It's almost 3 years since ONDC has been launched. As per you, how is ONDC reshaping the F&B industry? How is Growth Falcon supporting this initiative? What support do you think is needed from the industry in this revolution?
Thanks, Anant. First of all, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. This topic of what is ONDC and how ONDC is actually causing a disruption in the F&B market, it's a pretty important topic, specifically for you people over here, where everybody is already struggling with the duopoly in the market. And over and above that, there are private labels now being launched, which means you are losing control of the business, right? So what's ONDC, right? And what's it been doing since last 2.5 years since inception? ONDC is a government initiative to kind of empower the businesses, give the control back to you. Few stats, what's happened in the last 2.5 years since inception. May 2024 was the first transaction, cascaded transaction done on ONDC, done by Growth Falcons. May 2022, to be correct myself. December 2024, there are around 15.76 million transactions happening in a month on ONDC across network, right? Across categories. Food comes around 20% with 1 lakh restaurants onboarded, right? And out of this, 18% of Swiggy, Zomato's daily transactions, and this is specifically the Bangalore city, happens on ONDC, right? This happened in less than 2.5 years of time, and just to emphasize, with single-digit commissions, less than 8%. You have complete control of your customer data. You own the customer data. Your visibility, you have complete control on your visibility. You decide what's your menu, you decide what's your price, you decide what should be your discounts. That's the power that ONDC brings back to the restaurants, right? Now, how is this, and if I have to compare it, probably the time when Zomato started, 2015-17, in 2 years, Zomato was typically, 2017 was roughly having around 20,000 restaurants, and roughly doing around 2 million transactions a month, right? We are scaling very fast. As Mr. Anand said, be fast and furious, right? So that's what we are. Now, why is ONDC scaling so fast? What's the power, right? If you look at the typical monopoly, duopoly, kind of a model, the platform, typically the businesses builds demand, builds supply and the services around, and create a closed loop network. Right? And when you build a closed loop network, you create your own rules. And we have to abide by those rules. You have zero control, you have no control on your data, right? You have no control on the visibility, and that's what is happening today. Your data is not yours. It's been used by the aggregators to build something against you. You have no control, you're losing control, right? Now let's look at what's happening on ONDC. ONDC network, and just to let you know, this is first of its kind. Never happened before in the industry. It's like UPI of e-commerce. If you look at ONDC, the demand, the supply is typically unbundled and made interoperable. What does it exactly mean? Let's take an example. On a demand side, players like Ola can come in and join and generate a demand. Ola is already having 100 million customer base. It doesn't have to start something from scratch. Growth Falcons has around 16,000 restaurants across India, right? I can come in on the network, and when these two players work together, that's when the power comes in. Now look at this. Similar players, there can be multiple players in the market, right, or on the ONDC network. For like Growth Falcons, there can be another food aggregator who can have probably 30,000 restaurants in Mumbai. Somebody is having 1 lakh restaurants, typically catering in multiple cities, right? And similarly, from the demand side, we have Paytm, 100+ million customer base, we have Tata Neu, we have Magic Pen, we have DigiHeart. Now look at the power. All of them come together. There is a cascading effect, right? Suddenly, a restaurant typically, when they come onto ONDC, let's say through Growth Falcons, get visible across millions of customer base. And similarly, each restaurant has a power to decide whom they want to work with. Tomorrow, let's say, a buyer app who's generating demand, say, I'll charge you 30% commission. Hey, I don't want to work with you. I have other players whom I can work with, and I can generate a demand. That's the power of open network. That's that's typically happening on the network. So that's what I would want to touch upon. How ONDC is empowering restaurants. Second question about what is Growth Falcons doing? We are like Nammayatri in the F&B, right? We charge 0%, zero seller commissions. We are a leading food aggregator on ONDC, catering to 16,000 plus restaurants. We are ONDC first. Every solution that we build is leveraging ONDC. Be it onboarding restaurants onto ONDC and getting them discovered across multiple apps like Ola, Paytm, etc., etc. Be it offering an AI-based social solution where you can sell via WhatsApp, where a customer can type in, hey, I want, one plate pav bhaji, one plate samosa, send it to A135 Emerald. We understand it. We generate an order onto the POS, ensure the logistics has been assigned, and the order gets delivered. If you want to build your own fleet, we have 10 plus logistics suppliers where you get access to lakhs of the fleet, which means your delivery fulfillment rate is greater than 98%. Fourth, and if you want to drive your customer back, walk-ins, we have a solution where coupons can be created on these apps and redeemed on a UPI-based apps like Google Pay, right? So this is what we do. And our mission is simple. We don't want any restaurants to close because of high commissions. That's what is our mission, right? Third very important question, what support do you need from the industry? This initiative is for you, right? You guys have to own it. Right? If you want to get out of the monopoly, duopoly in the market, you want to take control of the business, you have to come forward and join this revolution, right? Some of these restaurants come and tell me, hey, Girish, give me experience similar to Zomato and then I'll join. It's a startup. You can't be perfect on day one. We are not perfect, I accept. It's a journey. You need to be part of that particular journey, right? And unless you come into the field, instead of staying on the arena, cribbing and saying, hey, I want to get out of it, I'm fed up with these aggregators, come onto the field, join the revolution, and come on to ONDC, right? We have, I would really appreciate, Bangalore Hotel Association who supported us wholeheartedly, right? Mr. P.C. Rao, Mr. Subramaniaolla, I have Mr. Pramod over here, and some of the very good, I have Mr. Arun Adiga. All of these people have supported us early, and they have been actually guiding us, telling us, hey, what best can be done to improve the user experience. Right? This is what is required from the industry. I call upon the industry folks like NRAI. Please come forward. We are happy to do as many sessions as possible. Right? ONDC is one of its kind. Never has happened anywhere in the world. So a lot of brand awareness is required. Right? And it's a journey. Please be a part of this journey and ensure that this is made successful. Right? So the time has come where, it's a time for you to gain independence. It's time for you to join ONDC. And if you think you need to know more, please meet us at booth Q4. We'll tell you how and how we can work together and scale your business. Thank you.
I think I need to come from 30 to 0 or 8 now. I'm leaving my friends Deepu and Shri, coming to you. More and more should encourage him. I think jokes apart, we don't need monopolistic players in the market. We need people like Girish Pai in the market.
Yeah.
I think we should support him.
Thank you.
Just another point to add. The delivery disruption has happened beautifully by 2 players. But now it's a high time when we hit the dead end, people like ONDC can add value. I want you to think through the lunch session. We have become a glorified laborers for these delivery partners. So my question to you is that, do you want to continue to be the glorified laborers or something else? If we don't do something else, we can't scale, we can't build up companies which can scale up across India and the rest of the world. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Pramod. I typically wanted to steal that we are like, glorified servants. I mean, that's something I wanted to kind of, talk about. It's a bang on, and I think the time has come for you guys to kind of join ONDC, join Growth Falcons. Thanks for emphasizing that point.
Chalo, let's become something else. Move on to Mr. Abhinav Mathur, the king of coffee. I think, king, we cannot set rules or questions. I leave it open to you.
No, the kings and queens of coffee are sitting here. So my first question is, how many folks here run a food business and have coffee as part of it? 1, 2, 3, 15, 20. And how many are planning to add coffee to their menu? Quite a few, right? Could anyone tell me the difference between a fine dine restaurant visually when a customer enters and a cafe? Just when you enter, what is the difference? Smell, aroma, fantastic. What else? Lot of chitter chatter in a cafe. Ambience. Tell me something very specific about the ambience in a cafe which is different from a fine dine restaurant. The coffee machine is the front and center of a cafe. If there is no machine right there, it's not really a cafe, right? I mean, there are. I mean, no, there are fantastic cafes. In the previous panel, there was a fantastic founder who's running a cafe without coffee or without this kind of coffee. So no disrespect, but filter coffee, of course. But a cafe is typically defined by a coffee machine, and that gives a confidence to a customer that what they're having is fresh, is made on the spot, and the role of the person making the cup of coffee becomes very, very critical. Just wanted to share a couple of anecdotes and stories, about, just to come back to this question of automation. When I joined this industry about 8 years back, I first time went to attend a trade show abroad. The most crowd was around this fantastic equipment with a robotic arm picking up a cup of coffee, putting it down, something else coming, making fantastic latte art, and then it getting served. And I said, boss, the game is going to be completely changed, and I have discovered something nobody has, and let me get such a product to India. That company got a total of, I think, 200 customers globally and shut down. There's a lesson here. Fast forward, I was having a chat with a European company, again, innovated and made a fantastic product, which basically automates the process of what a barista makes by hand, manual brewing, drip coffee, recipes you can feed, everything you can do. So I asked him, how do you justify the mathematics of this equipment to our customers? He said, technically, in Europe, barista is paid approximately 2 lakh rupees a month, Indian rupees equivalent. I said, boss, India, it is a 10th. So it will take years and years and years for people to get a payback on the product. Fundamental point being, we can talk all about technology and innovation and fantastic things and robots and everybody, but we need to understand what is the business we are operating. What is this automation going to solve for us? Is it going to improve our product significantly? Is it going to standardize it significantly better? And what is the value of that standardization in our business? Automation for automation's sake will never work anywhere in the world, and of course not in India. I want to give examples finally of two fantastic, very, very different brands. I'll touch a few nerves here, but two very interesting brands and how they are looking at automation. Again, another question. in this year, the year which went by, which cafe chain you think is the fastest growing cafe chain in the country? Sorry? Third wave, okay, third wave. Third wave opened close to 20 outlets last year, probably. Any other guesses? Chai Point. Chai Point opened 5 outlets CAT in the year, I think. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Blue Tokai opened 30 or 40. Sorry? Cafes. McCafe opened 30 or 40 last year. You're missing something right in your face. You all know the brand. Coffee Day actually closed outlets, didn't open so many. Starbucks, 30, 40. Come on. Zepto. Zepto is the fastest growing coffee chain in the country. They have gone from 50 to 500 in the last 4 months. 50 to 500, think about it. And they'll probably close this financial year at 1,000. At 1,000, they will be the second largest cafe chain in India after CCD, which took 20 years to get there. So 10-minute delivery, but also look at the speed of expansion. Point is slightly different. When they started looking at what coffee equipment to buy for their Zepto cafe, we started trials with them during COVID. It's been 3 years, 4 years working with them to get everything right, SOP right, the delivery right. We've very closely worked with many such brands. Interestingly, if you know the process of coffee, there's a grinder which grinds coffee, then a machine that brews coffee, there's stamping happening by hand. So there's a lot of manual work involved. And of course, there are machines which can automate all of that. You know, you bean to cup machines, you press a button, you get coffee. You know what equipment Zepto chose? They didn't choose an automatic machine. They chose the traditional machine and a barista inside every dark store to make that coffee for you. So a brand that talks about speed of delivery is actually going for the slowest process because that's the only one that gets the product right. Another brand, McDonald's, McCafe, same thing. They had an automatic coffee machine years back, but now you go to any McCafe, it's actually a traditional machine and a grinder. They've added a few automations. The tamping is automatic. The steaming is automatic, so the time is perfect, and we help them do all of these things. But the point is, again, think very, very carefully about why you need automation, which process can you automate, and are you trying to automate the heart of your product and which will make it taste like everybody else? And is it something that you really want to do? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abhinav. Very rightly pointed out. Multiple things we didn't know. Thanks for the information. Now, question to Mr. Ishwar, the robotic man of foods. I'm extremely sorry, there's a chit from back end. We're left with very little time. I think maybe 4-5 minutes you summarize, please.
I'll do an elevator
I'm extremely
pitch.
sorry about this.
But what's the question? What do you want me to speak about?
I think I'll leave it open to you. Kings and robots, we don't command. We take.
Okay, I think
the
I'll
output
speak about what, pick up with what Abhinav said about Zepto Cafe. I think there's a very big, I think, discussion happening about how can we actually do 10 minutes? Is it even possible? Can fresh food be cooked in 3 minutes, and is it even possible? I think, I think before that, I think, is even 10-minute food required? Many people say no, people say yes. I jump in the wagon that it is required because I think 10-minute food delivery creates new opportunities for the industry to scale. You have breakfast, lunch and dinner. Usually you don't think snacks too much, but if you can get snacks in 10 minutes, if you can, I think the opportunity is higher, right? Like you used to go to DMart or Reliance once a month, but with Zepto and Blinkit and Swiggy Insta coming, you order it maybe 2-3 times a day, the groceries. I think the food industry, the F&B industry, the overall eating out market in India can be much larger, which is today, I think 5-6 times a month, it can go to 15 times, basically doubling the overall industry. I think it is really good for the whole F&B fraternity. We having automated close to 25,000 restaurants, you name them, some of the finest, best of the country, and even a lot of standalones use our automation. And the question to me was, hey, Ishwar, everybody, right from Swiggy, Zomato, everybody wants it fast, they want it now, what can we do? And can you maybe fry a samosa faster? Can you cook a pasta faster? Yes, we can we have automation that cooks biryani or a samosa or a chai in X amount of time, but I think the answer to it is not to do it faster, but how can you keep it fresher longer? I think the answer to a 10-minute delivery to succeed at restaurants is you really cannot leapfrog a samosa frying. If it takes 7 minutes, it will take 7 minutes. Anything that does faster might harm the food, the taste, the quality, or not maybe really good for the consumer. But I think the way that we need to look at it is how can a fried samosa be kept for 30 minutes or 1 hour, crisp from outside and soft from inside? Or can an idli be steamed for a longer time, kept fresh? Or can a biryani be kept longer? I think that's where we at Mukunda Foods have been thinking around automation, rather than say that, we want to microwave everything or do something. How can we sort of bring technology in a way that can keep your samosas, vadas, even dosas for a longer time? Because when the order comes, your KPT is not 3 minutes, it's 1 minute. Your food is ready in 2 minutes, and how you can package it and give. And I think if you can do technological intervention there, it is very important. And as Abhinav said, a robotic barista, you said, is not the solution for India. The solution for India has to be an Indian solution, right? If you want to automate samosas or tandoori food, an Italian company would not do it. A company in India should sort of do it, and that's what we are trying to do at Bangalore, right from Bangalore, serving the whole globe. And I think that's where I think the 10-minute this thing is, instead of cooking it fast, can you keep it fresh, tasty for a longer time? That would ensure that your consumers get it really fast and you don't burn bridges at both edges. Thanks.
Thank you. That's very good insight. I think we are running out of time. Let's take a Q&A. If somebody wants to ask anybody something, let's do it quickly, please. Can somebody pass a mic there, please, quickly?
Hi, my name is Sunil. I recently started a food joint called Pushti that provides high protein food. My question to any of the panelists who would like to take it is, we spoke a lot, you guys spoke a lot about technology. It was very insightful. I would like to understand, how do you find the people to manage it, and how do you kind of, build a team around it, is what I wanted to understand. Because it's easy to bring technology and probably, train people, but the moment people move out, or let me put it in a different way. How do you prioritize your problems while you're, trying to solve something using technology? Thank you.
I'll divide the technology in the restaurants and F&B 3 parts. One is equipment, one is back-end, and one is front-end. Front-end is to the customer, back-end is to the people, staff, and the equipments part. And the panelist, my colleagues from Mukunda, Ishwar, and everybody is already working on the equipments part, which can solve half the problem of the people, where they normally face to the customer and say, why is it taking time? Why is it cooking not proper? So if you ask me, I feel Mukunda has done a very good job and been supporting to all the F&B. Our equipments plays major role, and we need to upgrade that. It plays time, speed, how well it is cooked. All these are technology-driven equipments, solves the people, even if the people changes. So as I said, our biggest task in the restaurant is handling people, attrition, and that's why the technology at the back end is taken, at the equipment level is taken care by other panelists. Coming to the AI part, that's what it helps the person, even if he is not able to speak English or not able to speak a regional language, even if I can say that the technology will help him how to do, what to do, how much to indent. I remember 20 years back, to indent itself in the night projections, I used to spend 2-3 hours in a restaurant, how much I should project for a week, for a month, but today technology helps that. So even if the manpower changes, the technology helps in the people side. Hope I have answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Any more questions or shall we wrap it up?
Hi. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Malhar, and I'm from Piki. So my question is to all the panelists here that you mentioned about aggregators, you mentioned about innovation, you mentioned about tech, and you're so experienced at it. Thank you so much for sharing insights. So based on your experience, what is the trend currently? Where the consumer is moving? How in automation, which cafes, which kind of restaurants you are seeing adapting to it most, and what's overall concession rate on that? Thank you so much.
My take on this is that if we still think on an old method of thinking, we can't scale. I would take an example of McDonald's. Probably they have outsourced the whole supply chain to 25 people, where the core, what is their core? They have kept the core to themselves. And with the core, working with this supply management is what making them to move forward. So the gap that I found is, the opportunity that I found is, ask a question to the hoteliers, restaurateurs, and cafe people that there are very few companies which has hit the IPO today. Very few companies which has hit the IPO today. The biggest reason is the scalability and the profitability parameter. According to my thought process, that we should think the Apple way. The Apple way is like, design is mine, marketing is mine, branding is mine, the rest is OEMs. So if we start adopting that to the food industry, there is a possibility of quicker growth and scalability.
Thank you. Any more questions or shall we wrap? Quick, please. Go on, please.
Sorry,
Yeah,
one
I am
question.
Arnab Guha.
One question from my side. Sir, you said you moved from IT to food, and I belong to the same category. So if you can throw some light and how we can find mentors in the new industry that we have stepped in.
The biggest advantage you have from moving from IT to food is, like you can't skip yoga. It's a kind of a habit that you have to inculcate. The good thing that you have an advantage, the strength that you have is, nobody can live without technology today. Technology, we have to live with the technology. And the biggest advantage you have is you're ignorant about the food business. And when you're ignorant about the food business, you are not afraid. So when you are not afraid, you try to do more and more new experiments. And when you try to do more and more new experiments, you will learn from it. So when I started a food industry in 2019, I didn't know how much of yeast would go for a bread. So I started experimenting. When we started experimenting, and today a lot of mentors are available. All the people on the dais here are, I would say, are potential mentors for you. You need to approach to them and then seek their guidance. And the best thing is, take a calculated risk, be mad. For example, we are trying a Maggi vegetable dosa. So you can do all experiments. All experiments will not yield results. Don't worry about the success. Success is not measured in terms of the materialistic comforts that what you have. Success is all about your appetite to do more and more experiments and get yourself into the kitchen every week, 1 day, 2 day, dirty your hands, start doing things. And then as our Coffee King mentioned, that what is the uniqueness that the Zepto has got. So if we are able to think that what is that uniqueness that you can build from an IT background to a food background, what is the unique food brand that you can build, I think you will get an answer. Thank you.
One question here.
Folks, since we're running short on time, we're already 1 hour late. We can bring the questions outside the hall. Yeah?
Last line. Let me close this. It's for the whole of us, F&B Horeca industry. इंसान अर्ज करता हूँ, इंसान जो पानी से नहाता है वो सिर्फ लिबास बदलता है. इंसान जो पसीने से नहाता है और जो टेक स्मार्ट होता है वो इतिहास बदलता है. Let's adopt the tech. Use the right tech, like he rightly said. Use it where it's required. Thank you, thank you.
Wow,
panelists.
wow.
Thank you.
Ladies and
Irshad,
gentlemen,
Irshad.
Mr. Anant Narayan, can we have a big round of applause for him? Come on. Can we have a bigger round of applause for our incredible Power Pack panelists? Come on, ladies and gentlemen, people at the back there, let me hear that noise. Come on. Requesting our session lead, Mr. Anant Narayan, to kindly felicitate our panelists. And my lovely audience, let's keep the applause going. Let's use our voice and make some noise, all right? Can we have some music on that note as well? To all the panelists, thank you so much for your time. Gentlemen, Ms. Rashmi Daga, thank you so much for your time as well, ma'am. People who clap, you'll be helping Bangalore traffic. Can we keep the applause going? Come on, people at the back. Anyone who keeps clapping gets a special gift from me. Requesting, can we have Abhinav Dwivedi, co-founder and managing partner at Industry Life, to kindly felicitate our session lead, Mr. Anant Narayan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep the applause going. Come on. That was Ms. Rashmi Daga, founder and CEO of Fresh Menu. Ladies and gentlemen, our session lead, Mr. Anant Narayan. Sir, always a pleasure seeing you on stage. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Mr. Abhinav. Can we have all the panelists center stage for the group photograph? Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for this power-packed panel? Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much.